Welcome to the third class of thalamus students. In this class, we will look into the connections, functions and lesions of thalamic nuclei part 2. Now we will look into the connections of the second group, that is motor control nuclei. They include the ventral lateral group of nuclei, ventral anterior nuclei and lateral nuclei. Now we will look into the connections of motor control nuclei, which include the ventral lateral nucleus and ventral anterior nucleus. First we will look into the ventral lateral nucleus. Whenever you think about ventral lateral nucleus, do remember they relay proprioceptive information and are involved in voluntary motor functions. They get information from two parts of the brain. One is cerebellum and two is basal ganglia. These two are involved in the motor control functions of the body. From the cerebellum, the nucleus involved is the dentate nucleus and the tract is called as dentatorubro-thalamic tract. And from basal ganglia, the nucleus involved are the globus pallidus and substantia nigra. These informations are passed to the ventrolateral nucleus and they project to the primary and supplementary motor cortex area 4 and 6. So what are the functions? They are central integrative center for motor control. They coordinate and plan movement. They are involved in learning of movement. The lesion will cause synesthesis. Now we look into the ventral anterior nucleus. You will remember they relay proprioceptive information and voluntary motor functions. They get information from the basal ganglia, from globus pallidus and substantia nigra, and they project to the premotor cortex area 6, prefrontal cortex area 9 and orbital cortex area 10. So the functions are: they are involved in initiating and planning of movement. They provide feedback for the outputs of basal ganglia. So here again you can see the schematic representations of connections of ventrolateral nucleus. So here we can see the ventral nucleus connections. The ventral lateral nucleus getting information from the cerebellum and basal ganglia and projecting to the motor area. Ventral anterior nucleus getting information from the basal ganglia and projecting to the premotor area. This slide again you can see the afferent and efferent connections of the ventral nucleus of thalamus. Now we will look into the connections of the third group of nuclei, which are called as visceral efferent control nuclei. We know that they include the anterior group and the dorsomedial group. Do you remember the tags which I told you when we talked about the visceral efferent control nuclei? Think over it and come to the next slide. So among the visceral efferent control nuclei, first we will look into the connections of dorsomedial nucleus. They get information from the prefrontal cortex. Also they give information to the prefrontal cortex. So they have the efferent and afferent connections with the prefrontal cortex. They also get information from amygdala, substantia nigra and midbrain, and they project to the temporal neocortex diffusely. So now what is the role of this dorsomedial nucleus in integrating and analyzing the sensory information? We knew that they have connections with a part of the limbic system. Hence, they play a role in the expression of affect, emotion and behavior. They are also involved in the memory part involved with the sensory information. They also cause synthesis of crude somatic sensation. So the lesion will cause memory loss and Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Again, this slide shows the major connections of the dorsal nucleus of the thalamus. So this is the connection of the anterior nucleus of the thalamus. They get information from the hypothalamus, that is mammillary nucleus, and this tract is called as mammillothalamic tract, giving information to the anterior nucleus. From there, the fibers project to the cingulate gyrus. This forms a part of a circuit which is called as Papez circuit. This slide shows the Papez circuit, the circuit of neurons involving the mammillary body, anterior nucleus of thalamus to the cingulate gyrus through the fornix to the hippocampus. So what is the function of this anterior nucleus? 1. It forms a part of Papez circuit which is involved in learning and memory. Second one, it is important for the attention, emotion and recent memory. It plays an important role in intelligence and memory, the lesion of which will cause memory impairment. We also look here into the picture of Dr. James Papez. Now we will look into the connections of the fourth group of nuclei. They are the pulvinar nuclei, lateral posterior and lateral dorsal nuclei. First we will look into the connections of the pulvinar nuclei, which is the largest nuclei. They receive information from the posteroheteromodal cortex, receives input from the lateral and medial geniculate body and superior colliculus and other brainstem nuclei interconnected with parietal, temporal and occipital lobes. The function of which is, it is the most important integrating center. It integrates sensory and spatial information. It integrates auditory, visual and somatic information. The lesion of which will cause visual, spatial, perceptual and language disturbances. It will lead on to sensory aphasia and hemispatial neglect. Lateral dorsal nuclei acts in concert with the anterior nuclei and are involved in emotions and behavioral functions. Speech and other integrated complex function is also involved. The lateral posterior nucleus acts in concert with pulvinar nucleus. In this slide again you can look into the connections of lateral dorsal, lateral posterior and the pulvinar nuclei. Till now we looked into the connections, functions and lesions of specific thalamic nuclei. Now we will look into the non-specific thalamic nuclei, which include the midline nuclei, centromedian nuclei, intralaminar nuclei and reticular nuclei. The major connections of midline nucleus includes the fibers which are coming from the reticular activating system, basal ganglia, pallispinothalamic tract, striatum, hypothalamus and other thalamic nuclei. They project the efferents to the entire neocortex, thalamus and limbic system. They are involved in the general functions such as alert, viscerolimbic functions. They are involved in multimodal sensory processing. Crude visceral and somatic sensations are also involved. Lesions will cause spatial learning defects. Connections of intrathalamic nuclei, which are enclosed within the internal medullary lamina, includes fibers coming from spinal cord, brainstem and cerebellum, and they are diffusely projected to the medial temporal lobe, amygdala, striatum and limbic cortex. They have a thalamic organization. They have large somatic receptive fields. So what are the functions? They mediate cortical arousal, attention and affect, responsible for alerting effects of reticular activating system, participates in the integration of sensory submodalities, integrates somatic and visceral senses, the lesion of which will cause attention and arousal disturbances. Now we will look into the connections of centromedian nucleus, which is the largest intralaminar nuclei. They receive information from the striatum and globus pallidus and project to the caudate nucleus and motor cortex area 4. The centromedian nucleus is involved in the attention and arousal mechanism as well as control of level of cortical activity. The bilateral lesion will cause brain death, coma, persistent vegetative state, mutism, and severe delirium. Unilateral lesions will cause unilateral thalamic neglect. The last nucleus which we are going to look into it is the reticular nucleus, which forms the outer covering of the thalamus. It is a sheet-like structure. It is surrounded as the GABAergic neurons embedded in the external medullary lamina. It is present on the lateral surface of the thalamus. The function of this GABAergic neuron is inhibitory. Other thalamic nuclei are excitatory and they have the neurotransmitter glutamate. The importance of the reticular nucleus lies in the fact that it doesn't project to the cortex and it is reciprocally connected with the other thalamic nuclei. They have the intrathalamic fibers. What is the function? It functions as a filter that gates the information flow to the neocortex. It modulates other thalamic activity based on the monitoring of thalamocortical stream of information. It is involved in the awareness of painful stimuli at thalamic level. Here you can look into the afferent and efferent connections of non-specific thalamic nuclei. Here also you can see the entire connections of to the thalamus and its projections to the cortical areas. Please revise one more time looking into the slide. Again, this slide shows the projections from the thalamus to the cortex as well as the afferents coming from the different nuclei. Please look into it again. Now we will look into the major connections of thalamus. We know the thalamus receives information from the basal ganglia. The nucleus of the ganglia involved are the caudate nucleus, putamen and globus pallidus. Also it receives information from cerebellum. The basal ganglia and cerebellum are motor in functions. So it relays the motor information. Second one is, we knew it is very important sensory relay station. So it gets sensory information from medial lemniscus, spinothalamic tracts and trigeminothalamic tracts. It also receives special sensations like taste through solitariothalamic tract and optic tract and auditory tract. It also receives information from the reticular formation. Not only that, it reciprocally innervated from the fibers of cerebral cortex. So it receives information from the cerebral cortex. Now shall we look into the major efferent connections? So it gives information, projects to the whole of the cortical areas. It also gives information to the caudate nucleus. It gives information to the reticular activating system. Also it gives information to the hypothalamus, and they are interconnected among themselves. Again, you can revise the afferent and efferent connections of some thalamic nuclei. This tabular column gives you all the specific and non-specific nuclei and there are major efferent and afferent connections and its functions. Please go through. Thanks for patient listening. Shall we go into the next session, part 4 of thalamus.